Over 6 decades ago, the ancient Idanre Kingdom welcomed a son, born to the family of Pa and Ma Ajisegiri of Idanre Kingdom. His name is Engineer Dr. Benson Ajisegiri. He had his primary and secondary school education in Idanre Kingdom.
From Idanre, and we grew up there because I did my tutelage and everything in Idanre. My primary school, my secondary school were all done in Idanre land. And while we were growing up, when we were in our early years, there used to be public water supply, which was running from Owen at that time up to Odode. And we were enjoying it when we were young. As a matter of fact, there was a fountain in front of my father's house. And that used to come, even though it was not regular, at least you have it 2 or 3 times a week. But towards the end of my teenage life, I discovered that wasn't running again, and then problem erupted.
Growing up was fun for him until it was dry season and all the wells dried up. He then made a vow to himself, a vow he intended to keep, so help him God.
During the dry season, we know that it's surely a herculean time getting water for our household chores. And that used to take a lot of time from us because as early as 5 a.m., you have to wake up to go look for water. You have to trek, as long as you can get water. And wherever they have wells, most wells dry up during dry season around there because of the low yield of the aquifer of the environment. So my pledge to myself was if I grow up and have the benefit of supporting the town to have access to water, I wouldn't hesitate to do that. And to the glory of God, when I came into the public life, the Lord helped me and I became the director of water supply at the national level, at the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, where that dream was to come true.
Before long, the much awaited opportunity came and he fully utilized them, despite the fact that he wasn't going to be a direct beneficiary of this project.
As far back as 1996 or 97 thereabout, I had the privilege of working on the World Bank project. And Ondo State happened to be one of the beneficiary states. And then that was where I had my first intervention in Idanre, when I had to lobby for, or when I did a transmission pipeline to be repaired. About 1 kilometer stretch of that pipeline was repaired, but that did not still, yield the needed dream, because I thought if that pipeline is repaired, perhaps water will be running again on the taps of Idanre. That did not happen, because when they repaired the 1 kilometer pipeline, we discovered that the burst shifted forward. So more pipelines were bursting, and then water was still not getting to the circular town around the Bekemo area of Idanre. So I now said, okay, then that means we need a more better solution, to provide water to Idanre. Much as the provision of water supply is not the full responsibility of federal government, because that is what states and local governments are supposed to do. But as a director, I observed that we do make interventions, where we know there's a dire need for water supply across the country. And so when it was to my turn to become the director, I just felt that there's need for me to support Odode, just like I will be supporting other communities across the nation. And across the nation, at least we have done fairly well, including Idanre. In 2006, 2007, I became the project manager of a World Bank project. And we were doing a project that time we call Pro-Poor Water Supply. I ensured that at least we had 2 borehole schemes that were provided to Idanre. That was the borehole scheme around the motor park, Akure Motor Park, and then the one at St. Joseph Primary School. That was the first that we did. And at other times also there was another opportunity for us to also provide intervention to many states. I also still had the opportunity of including Idanre as part of those that will benefit. And we did more boreholes. I think that time we did about 3. And then there was a period also that we had a national program that we call Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, and we work with states. Even though the state government, Ondo state government had not fully qualified, but I ensured that Ondo state government become one of those few 10 states that will benefit from that program. And within that, the Ondo state government agreed with me that the local government should be one of the 2 local governments that will benefit from that. And under that, we were able to provide water points to so many parts of Idanre. That's many of the farm settlements, and then we also still had in Alade, in Odode, and everywhere, and truly, I think by the time we compile, I observed that we have had about 59 locations across the length and breadth of Idanre that are benefiting from the water supply. And then in our intervention program also, I worked directly with the minister, and of course I made the minister realize that we have shortage of water in Idanre land, and that there is a need for us to have a budget line for water supply to Idanre town in Ondo State. The minister obliged me, and then that came into the budget line, and that is what we majorly use to provide the water supply schemes that we have in Odode precisely, and at Toshin we had another major intervention there. And what did we do? We said it would be nice for us to have water supply systems that will be sustainable. Initially we had a concept that perhaps we would do a major water supply system which will be based on surface scheme. That means it will make use of a running water, that will be treated and then will be transmitted and then distributed to homes. But by the time we did the financial analysis, I realized that we will need nothing less than 2.2 billion naira to do that. That money was forthcoming at that time. The maximum I could muster, and through the intervention of my minister, was about 500 million naira. And then the minister and myself agreed that, okay, the best would be to do schemes, that will be more sustainable, because even if we do surface schemes, we will need to hand over to the Ondo State Water Corporation, which is also running epileptically. So the schemes that they have, they cannot run. If you add another one to them, that will be catastrophic, because they might not have enough money to buy chemicals. The energy that they will use to transmit and to distribute the water will not be there. So meaning that we will be back to status quo. Water will not be there. So the other option would be to make use of underground water. And in doing that, I said, okay, the best would be to see how we can provide water to Idanre, on a quarterly manner. That means each quarter of Idanre can have a segment. We have a battery of boreholes. You construct adequate reservoir, and then you distribute through public fountains that will go to so many areas. And through that, at least we have about 6 or 7, water, supply systems that we have, constructed and are up running. And I believe if they are well maintained, it will serve them for a long time.
During his tenure as the Director, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Engineer Dr. Benson Ajisegiri executed and installed 59 water boreholes projects in Idanre, ensuring its sustainability even long after he leaves office. Engineer Ajisegiri and the Owa of Idanre have mayors put in place.
As far as we're concerned, those water schemes have been constructed to the highest level of standard, because I personally oversaw it, and I saw that at least most of the schemes that they have done, the boreholes are solid. The pumps they use there are ground force pumps that can serve for nothing less than 10 years unbroken if it is well maintained. The tanks are breakaway tanks, which is the topmost part of making reservoirs, and across internationally, breakaway tank is known. And then, of course, the distribution system they use are HDPE, which are pipes that can be there for the next 30 to 40 years. So the standard is quite good. And they also ensure that they tested the quality of water from the boreholes. And I saw that the quality to a large extent, quite fit for human consumption. And so I permitted that to be done, and that has been done across the centers where the schemes are located.
Ní àdúgbò Onugungun na ní committee na ní àwọn ya kaba na mójútó òun dánú ní ó fẹ́ bọ́jẹ́ na tètè report na tètè mú wọn sùn na lè ké mọ́ wọn àti ìwọ̀n ìrìnàṣẹ́.
Engineer Benson Ajisegiri is my own brother, a celebrated Nigerian, an illustrious son of Idanre Kingdom. He has made a tremendous impact in the development of Idanre Kingdom, no ramifications. He is a consistent, hardworking, unassuming, a highly dedicated professional engineer who has served the country in his capacity as a civil servant for over 32 years. And now, anything that has a beginning must have an end. He started his career as a young engineer, but today he has risen to the position of a director in the Ministry of Water Resources. He has handled many United Nations water development projects across the nation. He has made a success of his endeavor as a civil servant.
What is now left is for the management to be fully established so as to make it sustainable, because the power system, the water supply systems are based on solar. So for as long as sun is shining, the pump will be running to pump water into the tank, and the tank will release water by gravity to all the water ponds, and people will have water to fetch, throughout the day. But then we need little maintenance in terms of cleaning the solar system that are running that, and then changing the tap heads, and then of course cleaning the surroundings where the water points are located.
The final handing over ceremony, which ensures that the project outlives us all, was covered by our correspondent in NTA. The reports.
It is important to announce that the provided facilities will be modern service points operated, managed, and maintained by the beneficiary portals of the community. I urge you to be committed and put in place a sustainable mechanism for fundraising towards operation and maintenance of the facilities. One of the things I want to achieve in multiple ways is to stop every person living in an environment from defecating in the open. This is an objective I want to pursue seriously. The president has launched an open education program in Nigeria by 2025. And today, many local governments have studied to give the best to the open education week. I want us to be among the 21st governments that we qualify for that in our speech. To ensure that the water facilities are well monitored and maintained.
It's no wonder he was celebrated by the creme de la creme of the society when it was time for him to bow out of service, which also coincides with his 60th birthday anniversary.
Kí má dẹ́ ṣe mí mọ́ ṣe, Our leader is here, Honorable Minister of Water Resources. As we spell the water, they will cut. Give me W. Please make it loud. Give me W. A. T. E. R. Is that all you can clap?
Children, let's have the directors. Children can go back to their seat, and let's have the directors here present. And after that, the senior citizens. Some people are telling me I should grant incoming directors.
Okay, I don't do my front though.
No, he go in place me.
Ready, please.
Okay.
Hip, hip, hip! Hip, hip, hip! Hip, hip, hip! If you remember
Benson from public service, having spent over 32 years in the public service, an unblemished record, in fact a fantastic record. I can only sing hallelujah and thank God for your meritorious service and for your successful exit. He has been a friend. And I thought that I'm not usually a very sentimental person, but this gentleman, somebody that has been very special to the ministry and very special to me. And I felt that I needed to give you one more parting shot. My dear Engineer Benson, as you bow out of public service today, after several years of meritorious service to your fatherland, it means so much to me that I express my profound appreciation to you for your loyalty, dedication to duty, and identifying with my vision for the water sector since I assumed office in November 2015.
Amongst the attendees were Engineer Suleiman Hussein Adamu, Honorable Minister for Water Resources, Dr. Musa Ibrahim, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water Resources, Senator Patrick Ayo Akiyelure, Senator representing Ondo Central Senatorial District, Dr. Jasper Adeleye, Chairman Idanre Descendant Union, FCT Chapter, representative from the Office of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshimbajo, among others.
For all that you are doing. And in the house tonight, also, I have my mentor, person that gives direction, person who mentors me in humility, the person who is firm, the person who has royalty and has power, and at the same time, very humble, very friendly. And we could make somebody like me a personal friend for many years. And when the power was in his hand, he didn't left us behind. He still brought us close and gave us the direction to make us to be all the what we are celebrating tonight. Without his guidance, it wouldn't have been possible. Without his support, it wouldn't have come to pass. But each time we move to him because of his belief in us, he will offer his advice and lead us and say, move on, I am behind you. I'm talking in person of the Honorable Minister of Water Resources.
And so say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us.
In the morning at his residence, Mrs. Idanre Ajisegiri, wife of the celebrant, the children and members of Idanre Descendant Union, Abuja, all threw him a surprise birthday party with a saxophonist and local talking drummer song, and they danced to different melodious songs.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Adelanke Akimolado, reporting for Platinum Television.